Okay, folks, we're going to make the best cup of coffee you ever had with a pan, some water, and some coffee beans. And that's all. Now, of course, we're going to use a Coleman stove because we're making a version of Cowboy Coffee here. I get my beans from Hatchet Coffee, and I like a medium roast. We're going to use 1 quart of filtered water. I filter that in my Berkey. And then we have a pan here, just a regular old stock pan. And here's the reason I like getting stuff from Hatchet Coffee. They send you little notes when you order the coffee. I enjoy that. And they're local, and it's fresh roasted coffee, and then I grind it. I ground it in my grinder, and we'll use a 1/4 cup of coffee, medium ground, to 1 quart of water. So let's get going. All right, we're going to let that heat up a little bit to where you can just stick your finger in it and just hold it for a second before you got to pull it out. And then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of medium ground coffee. All right, so our 1 quart of water is nice and warm. So we're going to add 1/4 cup of coffee. And we are going to let that sit there until it comes to a rolling boil. And then we're going to let it rolling boil for about 4 minutes. Once it does that, we're going to take it off the heat. We got to be sure it doesn't boil over here, which it may. So if it does start to boil over, I'll move it over a little bit off the heat. Which I think we're okay. I think it's going to be fine. All right, so we're going to wait about 4 minutes now. It's on a nice rolling boil. That's what you want right there. That's going to take the acidity down and make this really smooth. While we're waiting on this coffee to boil, would you all mind subscribing to my channel? I would really appreciate that. It's down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Thank you. I'll put a recipe for Cowboy Coffee in the description of this video, and I'll also put a link for Hatchet Coffee in Boone, North Carolina, where I get my coffee beans. All right, it's been about 4 minutes. Now we're going to pull this, put it over here, let it stop boiling, turn our fire off. We're done with that. And we're going to let this sit for about 2 minutes. And those coffee grounds will start to settle down a little bit. And then we're going to pour very slowly, about a 1/2 cup to a 1/4 cup, 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of cold water in and around the sides of this. And that'll help those grounds settle even more. And then we'll let it sit for another few minutes, and then we'll pour off of the top, and we'll have a clear brown cup of coffee. There won't be grounds floating in it. There won't be any settlement in the bottom of the cup. It's going to be great. Now, I was telling you earlier, I use the, really like the Brazilian Minas Gerais, I think is how you say that, medium roast from Hatchet Coffee in Boone, North Carolina. But I will say this method of making coffee makes pretty much everything taste better. I've done it with Folgers when I've backpacked. I've done it with Starbucks. I've done it with pretty much every brand you can think of that you could buy in the grocery store. And it really makes your coffee a whole lot better. Normally every morning I just do a quick French press with my electric kettle inside. But I like to do this on the weekends. And, on weeknights, I'll make some, and then I'll put it in a mason jar and put it in the fridge and then heat it up in the morning. But I'll be back when this is ready to pour the cold water on it, and then we'll pour a cup and show it to you. All right, it's been a couple minutes, and that's starting to cool a little bit, and the coffee is settling. Now I'm going to just drizzle this in there. I'm going to try and do this while filming. Just around the edges. Just a little bit of water in there. That's going to settle all those coffee grounds down to the bottom in another few minutes. So let's give it another minute or two. And you can see this does take a little time, but it's worth it. All right, so this is what I usually make Cowboy Coffee in. I'll take out the percolator basket, And I'll just fill this up with water and coffee and put it on the stove or on a fire, and that works really well. But I wanted to show you could do it with just a pan in your kitchen. So we're going to pour it, and hopefully I don't make a mess, but you pour from the top. That way all the grounds stay on the bottom. You can see how clear that is. You're not seeing a bunch of grounds go in there. That's just coffee. All the grounds are at the bottom of the pan. There we go. And I'm telling you, it's the best cup of coffee you'll ever have. Be sure you like and subscribe to the Just Bill channel. Thanks. Have a great night.